Welcome back, guys. So, in the topic of stability, we actually dealt about Routh-Hurwitz criteria in the last class. Now we'll go to a new topic called Root-Locus technique. So, in general, my question is, what is the prime aim of a control engineer? So, since we are studying control systems, the prime aim of a control engineer is to design the systems, right? So the prime aim is to just to design the system. So why I am using this word is just to design the system means to design any systems we need some techniques. So in that designing techniques, Root-Locus techniques is one of the technique which is used. Okay, in the later part you will understand. Okay, so we'll see the drawbacks of Routh-Hurwitz criteria. In Routh-Hurwitz criteria, we cannot study the relative stability. So relative stability can't be studied. So I just explain what is about relative stability, and also we cannot find the system's parameters. Okay, system parameters like rise time, peak time, and all, we can't find that. Okay, so only in Routh-Hurwitz criteria we know only how my poles located in the left half or right half. Okay, and the rest of the things we can't do with Routh-Hurwitz criteria. But in Root-Locus technique, we have all the provisions to know my system gain. So how much my system up to what gain k value my system gets stability, etc., etc. So in general, in studying the Root-Locus techniques, we take the simple single loop block diagram. So we already know the transfer function this is my transfer function. In these things, you need to know what are the main things is already know that we can do this my n of s by d of s. So if we equate the denominator equal to 0, we'll get the characteristic equation. Okay. So we deal majorly this characteristic equation. So we'll take this characteristic equation as a main tool, and one more thing is open loop transfer function. So this is a closed loop transfer function, and we'll deal the open loop transfer function means k g of s h of s is the open loop transfer function. Okay. So open loop transfer function, and this is a characteristic equation. In the Root-Locus, we take this is a main tool, open loop transfer function, and the characteristic equation. So that means if you observe the location of poles, okay, so this transfer function has one poles. If you observe the behavior of the poles means it gives the information of whole closed loop transfer function. That is the idea. Okay, we need not do this closed loop transfer function pole locations designs. But if we find the observation, the designs of the open loop transfer function, it ultimately gives information about the closed loop transfer function. Okay, that is the idea. So in this transfer function, you need to understand that this is the characteristic equation in the whole up to from here to our whole analysis throughout the control systems. Wherever you see the characteristic equation means the denominator equal to 0, and the open loop transfer function is this one. Okay. So if my system is unity feedback, that is h of s equal to 1, then open loop transfer function means k into g of s is my open loop transfer function. Okay. Now actually what is the Root-Locus? So the Root-Locus in general, it is defined as it is the locus of migration of roots. Okay. So locus of migration of roots of the characteristic equation. So this is my characteristic equation. The locus of migration of the roots of the characteristic equation in the S-plane is called Root-Locus. Okay, you know my S-plane is what? This is my S-plane. So in the S-plane we have real and imaginary part. Okay, this is real part and this is imaginary part. So if I vary something, the roots will vary, and we'll migrate the roots and with different values of gain, and we'll have something that is the locus will have. Okay, that is called Root-Locus. Now let us with a small example. So let us take g of s equal to 1 by s into s plus a is my function, is a second order function, and h of s is equal to 1. So ultimately c by r of s is what? So here, and so system, let us say system has a gain k. So this system k into g of s means 1 by s into s plus a divided by 1 plus k into s plus a, h of s is 1. So this further we'll get some k by s square plus sa plus k. Okay, so my characteristic equation is what? S square plus sa plus k equal to 0 is my transfer function, is a characteristic equation. Okay, now for this transfer function what I said is the root locus is the locus of migration of roots of the characteristic equation. So I want to find the roots of this characteristic equation. Let us take second order function. So you'll have two types of roots. So by basic equation minus b plus or minus root over b square minus 4ac by 2a, if you substitute all those stuff, I'll get minus a plus or minus root over a square minus 4k divided by 2. Okay. Now with variation of this thing, see, I have a variable k is my gain variable. Okay, I want to vary this k. So in the viewpoint of varying this k, I take the three cases. Say for example, k is varied from 0 to k less than some a square by 2. Let us say a square by 4. If I substitute k equal to a square by 4, this entire thing gets 0. Okay, that is a set point. That means from 0 to a square by 4, my roots will be real and unequal. Okay, so my roots are real and real unequal negative roots. I'll get real and unequal negative roots. If k equal to 0, what happens if substitute k equal to 0? I get s1 one pole. If this one gets 0, what happens? Minus a plus or minus a square by 2. So minus a plus a, so that is 0, and minus a minus 2 by 2, that is minus a. Okay, I am getting 0 comma minus a as a two roots. So how I will place this? So I will place one root at origin, so s equals 0 at one origin, and other at minus a. Okay, and other at minus a. For example, if k is varied from 0 to some a square by 4, let us take a as a 10 value or a as a 100 value. Okay, a as a 10 value. So you'll have in between k 0 to some values, we have some values. That means these poles will have k for k equal to 1, we have some poles between this. Okay, so we'll have two poles, so we may have a pole like this. So the poles will shift from here to here, from here to here, from here to here. Okay, so we'll have poles in between this for different values of k. Now if what happens if k equal to some a square by 4, that means this whole term get 0, then I'll get two poles s1 s2 at minus a by 2. Okay, so minus a by 2 directly I'll get. So how I'll locate that poles directly here? So my poles shifted from here to here, here to here, and so let us and finally I approach at this point. At this point minus a by 2, I have two poles. Okay. Now what if my k is 3 when k greater than a square by 4? So this a k will greater than a square by 4. That means the roots I'm getting here as a complex one. That is, I'll give as s1 s2 equal to minus a by 2 plus or minus root of j into a square minus 4k by 2. So now what happening is from here to here, from k equal to 0 to a square by 4, my poles are shifted and shifted. At a equal to a square by 2, I got poles at origin, this point. Now when k greater than 0, my poles are in complex. Okay, so for k greater than a square by 4, I may get poles at this place, two poles, complex poles. For more increasing of poles, and get another poles, and more increasing of k and get another poles. That means in entire complex plane I am getting poles. So for k tends to infinity, this will locate, this go far away. Okay. So what happening in this dew point? So what is going on is, with variation of this k from 0 to infinity, with variation of k, so with variation of k from 0 to infinity, my roots of the whole transfer function characteristic equation is varying. So it is varying and touching at point and meeting one place, and again it is diverting. Okay, in diverting in vertical axis. Okay, so by roots only we are saying it directly with very confidence with vertical axis. But majority of the system is not second order systems. Okay, so we have third order, fourth order, fifth order, etc. So in all those terms, meeting and getting diverted may not be vertical ones. So with some angles will be shifted. So we'll speak everything later. Okay, how at this point is called breakaway point. Okay, so meeting and breaking means breakaway point. So we'll find this breakaway point, etc. So everything has its own rules and regulations in plotting the root locus. We'll see step by step. Only you need is concentration is important. Okay. Now we have some advantages. We have some advantages in root locus if you observe carefully. So you may not understand these words at now, but in later part you will observe very neatly. So clearly showing the contribution of each loop poles and zeros to the location of the closed loop poles. And so this what the root locus is showing is each contribution of each open loop, each loop poles or zeros to the location of closed loop poles. That means if you observe in the open loop pole transfer function, you can understand the location of closed loop poles also, and indicating the manner in which the loop poles and zeros should be modified so that the response meets system specifications. So this sentence you will understand while designing part. Okay, so we'll modify the system according to our specifications. So what are the specifications in time domain? I already said we have rise time, peak time, settling time, peak overshoot. Okay, so if in general my normal unmodified or undesigned system g of s has some peak overshoot. Okay, I want to improve that peak overshoot. That means g dash of s, gc of s, I want to improve that peak overshoot. So for that what I do, I'll just modify the poles. Okay, we'll understand this word later. Okay, and knowing the knowledge of open loop pole system is sufficient to analyze the behavior of the system detail study of the closed loop. So this sentence are almost equal. Okay, so these are the advantages we'll see in the root locus technique. And later on, let us see a system parameters and pole location. So again, the standard transfer function I am having. So in this transfer function, you know that omega and zeta n. Omega n is a natural frequency. For this transfer function, how the poles will shift, we are seeing. And zeta is the damping factor, is also know that. So damping factor. If my damping factor is equal to 0, what is the system becomes? It is undamped, right? If zeta equal to 0, it is undamped. So at this point, you have to know everything. Okay, zeta less than 1 means it is underdamped. So underdamped system are very much provision for design thing. Okay, you need to know that zeta equal to 1 means critically damped, and zeta greater than 1 means it is overdamped. Okay, so and the second order system has a characteristic equation. What is the characteristic equation? Zeta square 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square is my characteristic equation. Now what are the roots I have? Minus equal to minus zeta omega n plus or minus j omega n into root over minus 1 by zeta square. Okay, if I want to wish to locate the root locus, so I will do that. So I just simply plane S plane. This is my S plane. So in this, for a particular zeta value and particular omega n value, if I want to plot this, means the real axis in general I kept like this. So the real axis part, so some p pole, I'm having some point with zeta and omega n, which is located at this plane. Okay, so complex roots, I'm having S1 and S2, two complex moods, they are mirror images. Okay, so this is S1 pole and this is S2 pole, and the real part is what? Minus zeta omega n. So the real part which I have obtained here is minus zeta omega n. So, and the imaginary part I have means omega n root over 1 minus zeta square. Okay, so what is that point from origin? So this is opposite and this is adjacent. So by hypotenuse root we have this is omega n. That means zeta square omega n square plus whole square of omega n into 1 minus zeta square will obtain a value of omega n. Okay, so this is my omega n value, and similarly this is also my omega n. Okay, so these are the two. What you will say this thing is, it is a locus of poles with constant omega n. Okay, so with constant omega n, so if my omega n is constant and my zeta value is varied, this will rotate. Okay, this will shift, and this is also shift, and this is also shift. That is, this is a value of locus of poles with constant zeta omega n, and this is called theta. So where theta equal to opposite by adjacent, so my theta can be given as tan inverse of opposite by adjacent omega n, so 1 minus zeta square by zeta. Okay, so omega n get cancelled. Now, so I want to write the locus of for locus of poles with constant zeta. So how will obtain? If for example if zeta equal to 0 in this condition, what happens is all my poles will obtain in imaginary axis. Okay, so all my poles imaginary axis if zeta equal to 0. So if zeta equal to 0 means what happens? So at origin I'll be obtaining here. Okay, if my zeta value is equal to 0, so all my poles will be imaginary. So my poles will be located in imaginary axis. Okay, for constant zeta, all my poles will be varied with imaginary axis. Variable is what? Variable is omega n. Okay, in my second order system, if I am having constant zeta value and variable is omega n, all my poles will be located on imaginary axis. Okay, now if I slightly from zeta to omega n, my poles will be shifted like this. So it will be in this plane. Okay, so they'll obtain in either all zeta for one zeta equal to from 0.1 and zeta equal to 0.1. if you vary the omega n value, so my poles will be located in the complex plane like this. For zeta equal to omega 2, 0.2, for zeta equal to 0.3, my poles will be shifted like this. Now what if my zeta is greater than 1? So my zeta is greater than 1 means it will be located on the real axis. Okay, if zeta is greater than 1 means all my poles will be located on the real axis. So here real axis. Okay, so this is called the locus of poles with constant zeta and variable omega n, and with this is also can be represented with a semicircle like this. So my zeta value is constant with variable omega n, variable zeta. This is variable zeta and this is variable omega n. This is the locus of obtaining. So this is about root locus technique. So majorly you need to understand this thing. So with the whole concept is with variable of k value from 0 to infinity, my poles are locating, shifting and migrating. In the next classes, we'll go to the few rules where not only dealing about second order, we'll deal about third order, fourth order, etc., and we'll discuss many more things. Okay, thank you guys.